Hey, people. I'm live. I'm trying to see if this chats works. I got this guy. He's going to figure it out right now. I'm going to let him know I'm live, and then he's going to see. Because last time you guys weren't able to chat. So I figured something was up, being the fact that no one was even saying hello to me. I was like, because sometimes I say shit, I'm old school, and a lot of you guys kind of like not in tune with the younger generation. So I might say things that offend people. I don't mean no harm by it. But there's no way that the whole chat room's not going to say, "Hey, what's up, RD? How you doing?" This time, just like this guy just said in the Bay Area, just Bay Area, King RD. So, all right, the chat's working, right? I'm live right now. Let me tell this guy. All right. I had a bad mouth. You would actually think I'm being too harsh, like an old sailor. Yeah, it's not even about cursing. It's just about my views on life. I mean, back in my day, you could say whatever the fuck you want. Just, you see someone, if they don't like it, you got to handle yours. So it's just a whole different generation. Just like I was talking about Cruz. Someone was like, "Oh, what Cruz do I think now?" If it wasn't for D3, he was on the chat because I really don't follow it. I swear, I honestly thought Cruz were a thing of the past, man. Like, I couldn't see any reason for people to have a graffiti crew nowadays. I mean, all the paint you're buying it now. It's not like back in the days where people depended on other people. I mean, you might need a lookout. But that's one person. I mean, when I was coming up, you walk into a train tunnel to hit trains, and you got neighborhood gangs. Well, some of them that don't even write, like the ball busters. I mean, I pretty much stayed out of the one tunnel because of that. I was younger. 175th, you had the FK crew cut my face open. I caught out there a lot. Um, yeah, I've been out there. It's a whole different animal nowadays. Everyone, and once again, this is just me. I'm so out of tune with the younger generation. I was actually just telling this fellow here that, I found it funny how, no one was even saying hi to me and shit, but there's like 20 something people in the chat. That was the other day. And I was also downloading something to put on my Patreon. So I thought maybe the fact that I'm doing two things at once on the computer or the laptop, that it was somehow fucking with my chats. So I knew something was up, but I didn't know what. So I'm like, well, I'm not just gonna sit here like, what the fuck? So I clicked off because I was doing something else with Patreon. Plus, I wanted to get a little exercise in before I went to bed. It was kind of late. My belly's getting a little big, so I got to start body of motion, stage of motion. But also, the summer is coming around, so I normally cut off on YouTube throughout the summer. But I'm thinking I could continue to do some lives throughout the summer. Patreon, I'm going to keep running it right through. I'm filling in a whole black book, and not just with tags and stuff like that. I'm doing like pieces. Well, most of them are 2 pages, but size wise, like burners, straight letters, bubble letters, but fancy with twists and turns, and like every style you can possibly imagine or that I could possibly imagine. I do old school stuff. I explain where I got that idea from or who I stole it from. Just about every graffiti style's been stolen from someone somewhere. I mean, even the people that created it, they might just be the first person to put it on the subway, but chances are they saw it on like a Jackson 5 cartoon or Archie cartoon or Snoopy or something like that, the Hulk. Um, I really want to do a hobgoblin, actually the Green Goblin. I want to do him, because he's got the big nose and the big ears, and he's been done on the subway a few times. I've done stuff with eyeballs and shit like that. The eyeballs with wings, and you had the eye. It's just like an eyeball, like from heavy metal. Yeah. And a lot of people did eyeballs on subway cars and stuff, but that's all pretty much my Patreon. All right, let's see where we are here. All right, my friends. Sorry, you guys can't see my chin, right? Right like that. You can't. I'm sitting over here like that. All right. You know what it is? Let me pull this closer. But then it's going to fall off. I have it sitting on top of my frog tank. Let me move my frog tank closer. All right. All right, so where we at? Just very earlier. Let's see this guy. I'm live now. All right, so he's probably on there. Yeah, this is Grandmaster G. Grandmaster Garvey Cromwell. He's the person that actually told me, oh, I was trying to chat and it wasn't working. I was wondering, Well, thank you, my friend. All right, let's see what we got here. Ask me some questions. How many people we got? 10 in there, 2 years like it. I had a bad mouth. You would actually think this. That just Bay Area's fires. My friends growing up were always 10 to 15 years older than me. So I grew up with the knowledge that not many people were my age. TL. To me, putting up your crew is like putting up all your friends in one shot. Yeah, I get it, but I don't know. I mean, if you really look back at my career, I really don't write 357 if it's not in like a blockbuster or a fill-in or something like that. If I'm just, tags, to me, it's like almost wasting paint. And now I do it more. If I was to do it, it would be more for nostalgic reasons. I mean, most of 357 is dead, like literally dead. A couple of them in prison. A few would have actually just stopped writing and moved on with their life. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just, hard for me to fathom. I mean, I'm going to be 57 years old in 2 months, 3 months from now. There he is, Khalid. Salute. I'm the guy that messaged you, IG, you a question. Did you sell any bikes to any ghost shadows or flying dragons during the days you dealt with BTK fuck Ching? Yeah, I've done a whole episode on that. I actually said just about everything I could about it. I hear one of them is actually trying to get out of prison, I think because of COVID or something like that. But yeah, those guys, they like motorcycles and the fast bikes, not like Harleys and shit. But yeah, I did. You go back a bunch of episodes. All right, salute. They were very nice, very respectful dudes, man. And that's actually like the Canal Boys type shit. Because later on, that whole BTK thing came up when I was actually working and I was reading about in the newspaper. I'm like, oh shit, when they like blew up a van or some shit like that. And I'm like, oh snap. But before that, yeah, they would just, they were actually into rock and roll and they dressed. Later on in life, it was kind of like house music. So they would start having like the long mullets. But before that, it was like hairspray band type clothing that they'd wear. They'd wear like rock shirts and shit like that, Yeah, they were nice guys. I mean, I never had no problem with them. I didn't even know what they were saying, but I would just be, not to be disrespectful. You can't. How many times you can say, "What'd you say? What'd you say? What do you mean?" There's only so many times you can act like you didn't hear them. So, but yeah, now real cool dudes. You ever gonna get Lace on here for an interview? Would be fresh. Lace, we figured him out. Yeah, he's around. It's possible. I don't know. I've said, like, even when he was coming by here every week and shit like that, he really didn't want to do it. He was a little upset at this Hang 10 guy acting like he was his best friend or something. So he wanted me to make that clear on here. With Bine's bombing partner, Hang 10, acted like they were best of friends or something like that. And Andrew was sitting right here when I did the whole thing about it, Lace. And he's like, I have met that dude like twice in my life, maybe 3 times. I remember smoking a joint with him in the meadow or something. He might have came by my house, but I remember him trying to break up the fight when I broke Bine's nose. So it's pretty much what Lace said. Was Kaya associated with 357? Yeah, Kaya, yeah. He was early on. He was like when we thought it up. Originally, it was me, Lace, D3, and John. And that's after I got out of a juvenile center already. So he was already banging with like Gary Sash, when I was in a juvenile center. So by the time I got out and it was created, and Sash was already hanging out with Kaya, and Kaya was involved, early on, yeah. Well, I mean, you see him do Kaya 357, right? So of course, the original 357 was part Fudge. Yeah, but that's way before us and before we turned it into a crew. Part TDS, man. That's a real writer right there, man. Good dude, man. All right. Kaya was associated to. All right. Rancid Lace, a.k.a. Felon. Ill Crazy Tag. Yeah, but originally Felon belonged to Slocko. And that was ESP. Slocko. The fuck did he write before Felon? Not Fatal Frank. Well, Radar was Frank Malin, all right? Corpse was Liam McCann, which was Mike McCann's older brother. Huntsy wrote Hoy, Hoi. Shaker. And you had he had a couple of brothers, Jason and Michael. He might be Jason, and Michael was the other one. There's like 2 or 3 brothers from there. I'm trying to think. Frank Dewey was Fatal Frank, who wrote Fate, Fate. These are all old 6 Train writers before me. And Nada was Scott. Nada used to write Scott, but not Nada TFO, Nada ESP, blonde haired dude. He used to, when he'd be writing, he'd be digging up his nose, smearing it all on the insides of the trains and shit. Yeah, he'd be hitting that shit. When you're doing insides with the ink and stuff, he's fucking around. They put boogies on where like the conductor would like grab the door to open and to go into the conductor's booth. So Felon, actually, Frank Dewey for Slocko wrote Felon, and then he just stopped writing in like 1982 or something. And Lace just took the tag. It was his boy, so Lace started doing Felon pieces. But Lace also did Pyro pieces, junk. No, he never did a junky piece on a train, but he did a junky piece in my house here on a piece of paper I still have. Jolt. He was the one who was running around. If you ever see that picture with the guy reaching through the subway car with the 007 pocket knife, and it says, Shaker, consider this art, Jolt and Fate. Well, Fate is Fatal Frank, Fate, and the Jolt tag was Lace, and the Shaker tag was Shaker. CTA, consider this art. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, how many other tags? He really hit hard with Amp Lace. Early on, it was Amp, AMP, like an amplifier for a guitar or something. Amp, AMP. So many other tags he wrote, man. He did those Sire pieces I was talking about with Frank Chambell that had passed away. I don't know, was that on here or maybe on my Patreon? But yeah, Frank died. Different Frank Chambell. He did a K9 piece with the Wolf Pack, those dudes with that whole situation in Central Park with that jogger girl or something. Yeah, he did a K9 piece there. on where the corner where they hung out. Drew, Drew. He wanted to do Andy, but fucking Zephyr was running around doing Andy all over the place. Um, Puke. 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 He did some nice puke piece. He did that with Bind, actually, and Stash, too, in a scrapyard. Puke, Felon, Drew, Pyro, Junkie. Jolt. I just said that. But Jolt, he only did on the insides. He was tearing insides up the IRTs with Jolt, Jolt, on the insides with Flood and Marcus. He also did Julia Richmond Schoolyard, the handball court, with a big Jolt piece in the 1970s, like 79, maybe 80. He did it. And that should stay there for 5-6 years. Took up a whole handball court. I have it, I think, on my Facebook once upon a time. I could probably dig the picture up. I don't even know about Facebook anymore. Res also, RES. He did a couple of Res pieces, RES pieces also, like resin, like THC resin, marijuana. Lace did a lot of fucking shit, man. He did a lot of shit that he wouldn't even write Lace. He did an RD piece with Ghost on the Franklin Avenue shuttle. Yeah, I never saw the purpose in that myself. Once I got on RD, it was RD, 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 RD. I know I could think of other tags too, but yeah, I need a new lighter, right? All right. What about Hack 357? Cool tag. Yeah, that's my boy. He's younger generation. I've known Hack and his family. My mother even knew his mother and everything. Yeah. We go way back, man. Hack. Yeah, I've known Hack since he was a child, man. I don't know. I'm probably maybe 7 years older than him or something. I don't know. He's probably still in his 40s. What about Hack 357? Rancid. Okay. Hack is like the HFL or the other one. I don't know. There's a couple of crews that were around here that were beating people up. There's another one, HFL, and then there's another one. And you had the Albanians running around too. There's another crew I can't remember. It had an A in it. But they were more like beating people up. They weren't really writing graffiti too much. Oh, BAF is the other crew, yeah. And the girls were Fajos, First Avenue hoes. The Fajos, yeah, they cut your ass up, catch you out there drinking all drunk in a bar. They come up to you, how you doing? Rob your ass blind. Yeah, ESP, East Side Party, Extra Sick Partners, Extra Sick Playboys. I kind of wish that we would have just kept ESP, to be truthful, you ran and switched to 357. Because even when Joey was alive, doing the Hall of Fame, and he had Lace in the Hall of Fame, he wanted to do a Lace 357, but according to the schoolyard rules, being it's a gun, and they don't want to promote gun violence in schools, public schools. So yeah, that didn't work out well. So instead, he did a TFS 357. And there's a TFS also before that, like Spin, the Dump Koch, wasn't he TFS? Then you got these guys on the upper west side, like Tame, TAME, TFS. You got a few of them. I don't know. They never bitched to us about it. People got whack names, LOL. I like to, well, you see, that's it. Who's that? Charles Black. You see, Charles Black, that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm from such a different generation than you guys that I'm so out of tune. Like with the the gay shit that you guys come up with. It's, to me, I think all this shit that's these tags nowadays, like, that's stupid. So yeah, it's just a different, like, yeah, look at lava, 1 and 2, straight man. It's like you would never think. It means like a straight man. Like certain things, like I don't know. Like if you did a rainbow in your piece, that was pretty popular back in the days. I'm glad I didn't do no rainbows in my shit like that. I'm just saying. So yeah, life is different, man. Words pick up different meanings. Bad meaning good, like, yo, that shit is bad, but bad meaning good, right? Or fat, fresh. Look at Min. Yo, that shit's fresh. Yo, what up? Yo, what up? So yeah, people difference in life. It's a different era. I like 2 letters. Bing, bang, done. I agree with you, man. Like I was never like I couldn't think of a word that would encumber what I was accomplishing. Like I tried, man. I had to rob, like to rob something, the number 2 and rob. I had redo. I really early on, like 10, 11 years old, I was running around the neighborhood in school and shit, writing hair, like the hair in your fucking head, so. All right. I like 2-letter tags. New York City House Radio. Was there ever rd357 in the crew? Yeah, Mr. Wonderful. He comes on here all the time. He follows me on here and Instagram and everything. Yeah. Yeah, he's another dude. He was out there hard, man. Fucking shit up. Hell yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, he was with us a lot of shit that we were doing in the meadow. Same with Matt K-Bash. He comes on here too. Matt K-Bash used to write low, L-O. Yeah, we used to rob people in the meadow, Central Park and shit. He was there when we caught Kid Capri out there. Was there ever Mr. Wonderful, MR? Yeah, him and Otto, OC. ABI, no, that's different. All right, Rancid, Spin, TFS, Dope Styles. Yeah, I remember him, New York City House Music. I mean, there might have been some ABI here, but I'm not sure. What you think of Blade saying that having a 2-letter tag is the easy way, like cheating? I could hear him clearly on that, like with Blade saying that, Blade and Comet, because back in them days, you had people out there, stay high, you know what I mean? 149, super cool, So these people had long ass tags, but they weren't saturating the insides of a subway car, like hundreds of tags in each car, but they did thousands of pieces. So, yeah, I agree with them 100%. Some people say the end of the graph game really came about when, like, they came up with the 2-letter Throwups, like Jester and them, and Killed 3 in, and Jester with the DYs, like once that triggered off, and then you had people start just doing fill-ins all over the place instead of sitting there trying to actually do something nice, And I'm not against fill-ins. I never really, I did so many of them. Don't get me wrong. I was jumping around with like OA Nash and Ripe. I mean, Ripe was damn near the king of the fucking BMTs and INDs at that point. Other than like them, like AI and Zane and them, ZE and shit like that, they definitely were tearing it up. But Ripe was right behind him, if not neck and neck with those guys. So, some of the best fucking bombers of fucking fill-ins. I mean, I'm not talking like Is the Wiz. It was amazing, at a whole different level. But our men in them, but still these guys actually, back in that era, these people were fucking going crazy. But when it came down to like a single line or something like that, yeah, the dudes I was telling you, it was hard body, man. They were out there doing a lot of fill-ins, man. And I'd be there too, because if I'm just doing insides and they're doing the outsides, they get raided and shit. I'm still on the insides, not even knowing about it. So I figured I had to switch up my game. Before that, up in the 2s and the 5s, I bumped in the Rook when he was doing a Rook, and I was kind of stole his R. You know, so he told me, "Oh, this is how you do it." You know? Think of Broomhilda. You know, the comic strip. I said that so many different times in the past. I've been seeing LO tags and outlines uptown the Bronx recently. Different person. I mean, it's been. I mean, this guy. I'm going back to the '80s. You know, I don't even think he lives in New York anymore. Yo, my guy, loving the knowledge, appreciate it. I'll be 45 this Monday. Knew you since 1999. All right, knew me personally, or just knew of my tag. All right, rd357, another guy right there. Just saw you live. What's up, RD? Need to see you too long, brother. Yeah, man, I still got that for you here, man. Yeah, you gotta come by one day, man. Yeah. OR. Iran said, love ripe throwies, especially when he was putting faces in his throwies. Yeah. Yeah, that came later on after the subways. That's pretty much when he was with BS, like the bomb squad, like Tech and them, is when he and AKS and those guys. That's when he started Poke and stuff. That's when he started doing those faces. But I've done a lot of fill-ins with him, man. And me and him, we were bombing partners probably 3 times a week, almost 2 years, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, possibly even a little longer than 2 years. We'd be in Grant layup every Sunday morning, man. With Nash, OA, and Sayer, and Smalls. All right, Charlie Black. I like straights better than fills. Me too. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Lately, I've been into the whole filling kick. You know, there's only so many gates in this city, so do them nice with nice colors, do a nice force field around them, and fuck everyone. But yeah, I always like a big stomper, man. That was always me. Like, if I'm gonna run around doing a bunch of fill-ins on the side, I'd rather just do one whole car, like with all the silver and the black and shit like that, or whatever colors I was gonna just do one big one and shit. You know, like I was doing the top to bottom fill-ins. I've done a couple of episodes here um, with the top to bottoms in different situations. One's on a bulldog with a red outline, and I did a whole big story about that. And then there's one with a black outline, and it's a different style throw up. It's a top to bottom also, and it's on a Ridgie. I did that most recently when people are doing the Ridgies now, and it's like they're not going to run, they're scrapping them or throwing them in a river or some shit. So I was like, wow, I was doing that shit before they were even something. And it looks just like someone could lie. They could act like their shit was running on the subway 20 years ago or something, you know. But anyway, I was trying to have more top to bottom fill-ins than your average run-of-the-mill dude would have fill-ins at a regular level on them. I don't know if I actually accomplished that or not, but you remember Cape Town Crew. I remember KT. Who was that? Maybe Vanel. No, Vanel was 3M, but some of the people he hung out with, there was a couple people, KT. Maybe Tier, the guy that Psycho TC5 stabbed in the chest. TERE. No, KT. There was a crew, KT. I just can't remember who was down with it. I remember they used to go over me. All right. I remember KT crew. Sounds like a radio station. King, Mike King, have you poked around in the Hudson Yards 7 train extension and 34th? Figure you might enjoy the broken ass door. That broken ass door. I fucked around in there before all that shit, like way back when there used to be whores and shit like that walking around over there. I would fuck around that yard when they actually had like Long Island Railroad trains parked in there, like in the 80s, the late 80s and shit like that. What's the story with Frog 357 nowadays? Fucking realist OG. All right, peace to RD. Just saw an interview with Lady Pink. Was she up on the trains much? She did her thing. I mean, I've seen her stuff run. I've seen a few of her things run. So, that's got to say something. But I mean, to what level, I guess, this lighter's killing me. All right. So Lady Pink, I give it to her in that area. Brea was tearing shit up. Him and Coaster, hell yeah. I don't know if they used to go over us and stuff like that, but yeah, he was out there. He was going hard. We bumped into him. I did a whole episode about that in the Love Store. Much respect from Toronto, the legend RD. Thank you from Toronto. That's from Brock Dickens. Desmond Caesarski. Riot 207? Never heard of them. All right. Pink, nah. I don't know if, AC said Pink, nah. I mean, I never really, I had problems with her at one point, and she tried to pull a woman card once. So I don't really like her per se, but you still can't deny her props. You know what I'm saying? And the problem I had with her is once with Joey TDS and Lace was doing a wall, and this is when they took the shit from Ezo. And D3 was still crossing Ezo out in the Hall of Fame there. And there was no wall left for her. And she came out of the blue and wanted to do a wall. So Joey TDS was like, well, you could do right there on the school where it's actually the gratings to windows and shit like that. And she's like, yo, get out of here. I'm going to have the newspapers come down. And she was with Smith. And, I was kind of like upset, but, that's Joey's day. So I didn't want to do nothing about it. I don't even think I conversated with Smith. I might have said hello to him or something. And I don't know. She was on like some shit like, I'm a woman, hear me roar. Like, I'm going to go to the papers and I'm important. And I'm going to have people going to see how you treat women or some crazy shit like that. I'm dead fucking serious. I'm like, yo, Joe, fuck that shit. But yeah, that's a true story. And she wound up having to do the fucking same spot after all the bitching. All the girls, there was a bunch of them. You had one chick out there. I don't know what the fuck she wrote. Muck, something like that. She was kind of cute, like grungy looking. I'd eat it. I don't know. There's about 5 or 6 of them jumping around, a bunch of lesbians. All right, so where were we? What would it take for Brock Dickens to see some RDs go up in Toronto? A lot, man. That shit ain't happening, man. I ain't going up to fucking Toronto. I think Graph took a big... I was selling subway maps on eBay many years ago. And I had people buying them. They asked me to do... originally, they got in touch with me on MySpace or Facebook or some shit like that. I don't know. This is probably about early 2000s. This one guy... I'm a Hell's Angel, this, that. And if I could do, the Hell's Angel sign and local 81 or the Union. And, I did all these maps and shit. He bought a bunch of them off me. And he asked for more and he just disappeared. So I put them shits on eBay. The ones that were left, the guy bought them off me, And the Hell's Angels opened up a case against me for like copyright infringement and shit. I'm like, wow, for real? Like, I thought y'all would like bash my fucking head in or something, man. That's a fucking pussy move, yo. That's ratting, But I took them off, I mean, I guess I'd rather them rat on me than beat me an inch of my life, right? But I really was like, wow, what a pussy move, man. But now I hear motherfuckers are going hard up there, man, in Canada. Right, with the risottos and shit like that, man, motherfuckers are setting it off up there in Canada, man. That shit's like a fucking war zone from the way I hear it down here, in America and whatnot, Why don't you do another Graph Champs? I never did a Graph Champs. Did I? No, I never did graph jams. I like it. It's good shit, but I never did it. Hey, RD, do you like the movie New York Ripper? Yeah, someone asked me about that, and I couldn't remember it. And I watched it last time I was going live, maybe 2 years ago or something. And well, it was 1 year ago, but in that mix, someone asked me about that movie, and I watched it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I did enjoy it. You're probably the person that asked me to check it out. Um, hey, RD, do you like the movie New York Ripper? And I write KOTE, cash, liquor, and violence. All right. Desmond Caesarski. 9797. RD Smith collab would be dope. Did you guys ever do anything together? No, I bumped into them two brothers a few times. Like on the Sixes, they were using house paint. Down in Tishman under Central Park, I bumped into them. I think I might have bumped into them in Astoria. No, I bumped into Sand and Dyer in Astoria. Also bumped into them in the Sixes. I was bumping into Sand and Dyer everywhere, man. But Smith, I have no interest in doing a collab with him, man. And what are we going to talk about, you know? Like, I don't know, a lot of you guys think like there's some kind of animosity there, but I was actually always cool with them. I mean, they jumped on that whole beef thing with their people. You know, those are their friends, so they're not going to be like the black sheep of the family, I guess. So it's either one for all or all for one type fucking Three Musketeers type shit. But I never held that against them or nothing like that. I did think that that was a little weird, that whole conversation that Lady Pink was having in the Hall of Fame that time. You know, with Joey and shit like that. But they go over me, I'll go over them. It was never nothing really personal or anything like that. I just still till this day, I'll tell you guys, no matter what, there ain't no way they did that shit from 59th Street to Queensboro Plaza under the river. It didn't happen. Still to this day, it never happened. That's my home stop. Still till today, that's my home stop. I mean, I'm sorry. And even if it's a friend of mine that says something like that, I'll come out clean. But I don't even think they said that. I don't know where that came from, you know. It was in a Waipiki that someone sent me on here and asked me about. And I said, no, that's not true. I'll do an episode about it. And I did an episode about it. I mean, it's not like I'm hating on them or nothing. They did that thing, man. All right. Yeah, it was probably me. I used to go by Cam Medical Pathologist. All right, what's this? You were there when OC did the giant throwy above the court in Wagner School. Yeah, he did it on the fire department. Yeah, I was with him when he did that. There's like a little pole there. I was like, damn, that's a good spot, man. He did a whole big OC across. He was just holding on to that little pole when he did that shit. Yeah, it's huge. It lasts forever, too, right? You were there when OC did the giant throwy above the court in Wagner schoolyard, and story behind that, there were RD and D3 tags in black on both sides. Yeah, but not out in the middle where he went, man. Yeah, I was happy just catching a little tag, going right up and just there. I didn't go out over the whole thing like him. But I was like, fuck it, you could do it, go for it, man. But yeah, I was with him when he did that. Yeah, that was probably me. I used to go by Cam Medical Pathologist. Desmond Caesar. Let's call you Desmond. Knock out the enemy. TL. What's up, TL? What's the longest break you took from writing? I always say, even when I'm not writing, I'm writing more than most of you people. It's because I might slow down a little. Like, for instance, after I got arrested, I started going underground more so, hitting tunnels and shit. I let things cool off because the MTA and the streets of New York City, they really don't communicate like you would think they would. Their books are kind of separate, and arrests and investigations and shit like that. At least that's my belief, and I believe in that belief. So I think that there's some truth to that. And at one point, they merged the two, so everything's under the same umbrella, whether it's the transit police or the above ground police surface, and they merged them together. And I still don't think that they connect. Like, because I don't think like a city cop, surface cop, can just be called to duty underground unless it's like New Year's Eve or there's some kind of uptick in crime or something like that. So, I mean, that was always my belief, and I believe that. I mean, just there was not in my arrest. There was nothing with the tunnels, and I was going ape shit, man, in the tunnels when they arrested my ass. Maybe they just don't notice it. What's the longest break? I guess when I went down to Jamaica, the West Indies, down there for about a year, half a year. And even then, I was still down there. Right. Joey TDS came down. I was catching tags with him all around the grill and shit, Westmoreland, Little London. Did I ever know Jew? No, I don't even think I met him, but he was a good writer. Definitely Jew, and then put it in, man. Jew, Rhea, Rick, Tyke, Tabor. Tabor, I still speak to him sometime. Maybe I'll see if he wants to come on here one day. I think I asked him if he wants to come on. There's a bunch of those guys. I'm still not Louis 167. Rest in peace. Rule RUEL, right? Yeah, Rule RULE or RU. I can't remember if he was LE or EL. I think it was RULE. He spelled it. Bester was in with Jew and them. Rest in peace, Dyer. Yeah, definitely. Do I still rack toilet paper? Yeah. Khalid, you still doing subway maps? No, no. I actually have one here that D3 gave me that I want to give away on my Patreon. I'll show you. Hold on one second. I mean, don't go telling D3. No, he's probably on here. But yeah, I have no use for it. He gave me a real nice subway map. And I'm trying to get rid of stuff. Like I'm trying to get I don't know. I really think I'm growing out of this whole graffiti thing, man. Took me 57 fucking years. Well, 40. You think I started 12, 13 years old. 57 now. So do the math. Yeah, here it is. I don't even remember who's on here. Let's see. Oh, you got D3, Sniper, TNS. He used to do a lot of fill-ins, man. Them NR fill-ins, Sniper, Duster. You got a Duster tag there. Stem. Yeah, that's the old Stem with Stem and Popo, the 2s and 5s. See that Stem? I believe that's Stem and Popo. They're not the Popo nowadays. Gem Art. Checker, my boy Checker. 170. Tony 164. You got Pove. Brother Pove. I wonder what he's doing, man. Hope he's all right. Last time he came by here. Cody TFO. Scheme. You got a scheme tag there. And what else do we have? Scheme. GU over there. TF Funk. Oh, wow. Coda. I think that's MG Boys Coda. You got some FC crew. Yeah, a lot of people on Banish. I remember that. Yeah, I'm going to be giving that away on my Patreon. Yeah, it's been a while, but I've been dropping this shit on Patreon like every day. Then them dudes are getting sick of me. Like, yo, I'm filling up. Let me sit right because you guys probably can't even hear me. I know the mic is fucked up on that. I thought it was an old kid one because he just passed away, but no, it's not. Living on Broadway. And I just had a little bag for the South fight. Here it is. Yeah, I'm giving that map away on my Patreon within the next couple of days. I'll do an RD tag on it too. It's got everyone but an RD on it. What's up, Disc? I see G Landau. That's Disc. All right. Let me scroll back down a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why last time the chats was shut off. I tried to come on the other day. Let me go down. What's up, Asa?